In this guide, we're going to go through a demo on how to use environment variables and specifically how we can work with our path environment variable. So let's see what this looks like just by printing the path out right here. If you remember back, we can go in and type echo followed by $path. And this is going to print out our full path right here. So this gives us all of our various directories, and these are all paths that we could call at any time. Now, if you also remember back to the PowerPoint, I talked how each one of these is separated by a colon. And as you can see, there are colons that designate a separation between one of the values with the next one. Now, I'm going to give you two ways that you can edit this path. The first one is temporary. It's session-based, and if you're wondering when you'd want to use this, I use this for when I'm developing an application and I need to temporarily update a file. So if update a application and I need to grab some, say, API credentials or something like that, and the application needs those in order to run, but I don't really feel like cluttering up my entire system with those path variables. This is a way of doing it. I can type in echo, and I'm sorry, not echo export followed by path equals $path, and then separate this with a colon followed by USR, which stands for user, and then whatever I want to place in there. Now, before I even type that in, let me type ls code. And if you do this, you can see that I've created a few different directories inside of this code file. Specifically, I have a bin directory I created, and then also one called some scripts. So here, let's temporarily add our some scripts directory. I'm going to type in export followed by path equals $path colon followed by USR followed by code / some scripts. Now, if I run this, it is going to add that to the path variable, and we can test this out just by running echo path again. So I can do echo $path, and as you can see there at the very end, it added some scripts. Now, this is fine. However, it's not a permanent solution. It's based only on the session. So if I click out of this and click back into the terminal and type in echo $path again, you can see that this is now gone. So this is fine if you're temporarily working with an application, and like the example I gave where I'm working with an API and I don't want to clutter up my whole system with these different values. That's perfectly fine. However, there are times when you want to have this set to be permanent, so you can call it anytime you want to. And the way that you can do that, there's a few ways you can do it. One way that I do it, I change into the root of the system, and from here, if I type ls, you can see all of the different values here. And inside of this, I can type in sudo vim etc/environment. That's going to ask for my root password. And now inside of this, you can see this is where the path is. Whenever we were calling echo path, you can see this is where it was actually getting printed out from. So if we want to edit this, I can come at the end and separated by a colon once again, I can pass in the path I want. So in this case, I want to use that other one. I want to use the bin directory inside of code. Just as an example, you could use anything you want. But I'm going to say USR. So it's going to affect any users on the system. So it's very important. The only time you'd ever want to do this is usually when it's on your own machine. Usually wouldn't do this, when it's a server or something. But if you're working with your own desktop machine, this is a good way of doing it. So I'm going to do user code bin and then save it. Now, if I type in echo path, you can see that that path has not been added. So did I do it wrong? Not quite. Instead, what we have to do to make this show up is we actually have to reboot the system. So if I type in reboot, this is going to reboot the system. In this case, I have this running on VirtualBox, so it's going to reboot the instance of Ubuntu that I have running here. But that'll only take a few seconds. And here we're going to have our system back. Now, if I start everything back up again, type in echo $path, you can see that now this user code bin that we added, this has now been added, and it's been added permanently. So this is a really nice, I like it. It's a nice clean way whenever you have a permanent value that you want to add to path, you can simply edit the etc environment variable, and that's going to do it directly. You can also experiment with using say the bash rc file or the bash profile file, and that'll also give you access to if you want to do it on a user by user basis. But if you have your own desktop system and you're wanting to pass this in for just yourself permanently, then you can just edit the environment variables directly in the etc environments directory.